That was out a long time ago, a very long time ago, probably 40 years ago. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to be a musician or I wanted to be a comedian. And decided that music was much, much, much more important to me. But I still did a lot of comedy, and my kids always heard the ridiculous comedy that I would do. Nothing really offensive, but well, maybe they would say so. I don't know. And I don't think they've heard this. And I know that Nelson's children and Denise's children have not heard this. A lot of you heard me do this probably 20 years ago somewhere. There was a comedian that I just absolutely adored. His name was Jackie Vernon. And I don't know how many of you remember him, but he was hysterical, he was clean, and he was ridiculous. And so I'm going to do a little bit of his comedy routine that I just absolutely love, and I still love to this day. I wish he was still around, because you don't find great comics like this anymore. I mean, we had Johnny Carson. My favorite today is David Letterman, but the Stephen Colbert's and the new edgy comedians are not what the great comedians were. The Milton Berles, the Danny Thomases, and the Sid Caesars. I was very lucky. I don't know how many of you knew this, but I was extremely fortunate to conduct the Living Legends of Comedy, which was Danny Thomas, Milton Berle, and Sid Caesar. And you realize, my God, I was a toddler when these guys were on television. I went up to Milton Berle, and I said, after 2 weeks, I said, Mr. Berle, I want to tell you what an honor it is to work with you. And he looked at me and says, yes, I know. Later on, I asked him to come and speak to the Glendale Kiwanis Club, and we had it at the Castaway restaurant. And I asked NBC, CBS, and ABC to come and film it, and they did. They came out, and so Milton comes out and he says, "Well, I'm telling you, it's really, very, very, very nice being here today at the Kiwanis Club." And this guy, Norman Mamey, he called me about 2 months ago, and he says, "Milton, do you believe in free speech?" And I thought about it for a moment. I said, "Yeah, I guess I do." He says, "Good, you're giving one on June 26th. So here is Jackie Vernon. Hello, fun thinkers. To look at me, you might think I was a dull guy, and not the happy gay blade I am today. But a while back, I joined a club. It was called DA, stood for Dulls Anonymous. Fun, we used to go down to the railroad tracks and pretend we were getting on the train. And for extra enjoyment, we used to go down to Old Soldiers' Home and sound the cavalry charge. However, one night we were ambushed. So let's go back to those days of yesteryear. Those days of nursery rhymes. Remember such rhymes as Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown. Jill suffered minor injuries. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men had an omelet. Now I'd like to show you a few pictures of my recent trip.
Oh, you did that.
Yeah. I'm sorry that wasn't supposed to be in there. This is the first day of my trip going into the Holland Tunnel in New York. This is the second day of my trip coming out of the Holland Tunnel. Here's me driving along. Here's me picking up the hitchhiker. Here's the hitchhiker holding me up. Here's me hitchhiking. Here's the hitchhiker picking me up in my own car. Here's a picture of a bear. I took the picture. Here's a picture of me. The bear took the picture. Here's a picture of the bear and me. I don't know who took the picture. Probably the hitchhiker. And now we switch to the Everglades. And here I am going into a guide service. And they had a guide there. He was so famous, they called him Guido the Guide. Here's Guido taking me around a patch of quicksand. Here's Guido from the neck up. Here's the rescue party coming to rescue Guido. Here's the rescue party from the waist up. Next time when you see me, everyone, I will be telling you about my father, who was a Yugoslavian guerrilla fighter, and my mother, who was a Yugoslavian guerrilla. I'll never forget the words of my grandfather just before he died, Gramps Vernon. He said to me, "Jackie, I don't want you to ever forget this. Columbus sailed around the world with 4 ships to prove that the world was round." I said, "Grandfather, there were only 3, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria." He said, "No, there were 4, but one fell off the edge."
I think little tidbits. I think you've done tidbits of it for us before.